Hi, my name is Kristen, and I'm going to be giving my current event speech about the benefits of vaccinating your child. Do you remember being dragged to the doctor by your mom and the nurse saying that, oh, you're going to need some shots today? Because I would seriously have a mental breakdown in the room whenever they would talk about that. And I'm sure a lot of people did as well, and to this day, I get a little nervous when they say I need some shots. But what I didn't realize is that these shots are what protected my immune system from potentially life-threatening diseases such as polio or chickenpox, hepatitis B, and like countless other diseases I cannot even think about. So the theory of changing the vaccination schedule or completely cutting out vaccinations has really caused a lot of issues in the medical field. So in my speech, I plan to talk about the benefits of immunizations and how immunizing your children is not related to autism in any shape or form. So first, I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of immunizing your children, which first off, it just protects them from contracting, life-threatening diseases. Dr. Kovac of the Pediatric Alliance Arcadia office stated in Mark Roth's article in the Pittsburgh Post that before age 1, children should get the diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus shot, hepatitis B shot, and nosocomial shot. Hepatitis B and nosocomial vaccines are designed to guard against bacterial meningitis, which used to infect 18,000 people and kill 1,000 before the vaccine was created. Sometimes doctors suggest not to cut out immunizations completely, but to modify the schedule a little bit because you do get a lot of shots at one time when you're little. I think at one visit you're getting like 5 shots at a time. But Andrew Nowak, an infectious disease specialist, states in the article by Mark Roth that one of the reasons we are so hot on the vaccination schedule as it is that otherwise you can put your child at risk for some of these diseases, many of which are quite serious. My response to parents who say, what's the harm in spacing them out, is that many of these diseases are quite devastating and could potentially kill your child. Another doctor, Dr. Warren, states in the same article that the problem, she said, is that if too many parents avoid or delay vaccinations, it can allow clusters of childhood diseases to erupt. Outbreaks of measles in the Southwest last year and of Haemophilus infection in Minnesota this year were both traced in part to families not vaccinating their children. So lastly, I'm going to talk about how there is actually no scientific evidence to say that vaccines cause autism. A lot of people in the medical field believe that there's 2 reasons that parents tend to blame vaccines for autism. One is that autism has not really been a huge thing until about 20 years ago, when a lot of attention started to become brought to autism, and a lot more people were starting to get diagnosed with it. Just a lot more attention was brought to it. And another reason is that when you get shots, it's all kind of in the same time frame as when you start to show signs of autism. It's all in that newborn to 2-year-old phase. So it's super easy for people to say when those, your autism symptoms start to show that potentially you could just be like, oh, they're from vaccines because they read some stuff online. So Elliot Frank, who has a son with a form of autism, stated in the article by Mark Roth that he does not believe in any way that vaccines cause autism. He says that he talks to his parents and his this thing called a board, which is an advisory board on autism-related diseases. So it's made up of, parents. And he says, we talked to our parents about how you can't blame yourself for what has happened. But I think it's human nature that you've got to blame something because you had this image of what your child could grow up to be at a very young age, and it is taken away from you. And you've got to blame somebody or something for life being that unfair. Another story found in the Pittsburgh Post that Mark Roth wrote about was about a woman named Megan McNaughton. She had a son who, at 2 years old, lost his speech and started showing signs of autism. He was vaccinated, so she started reading online and just kind of making assumptions and decided not to vaccinate her second son, and he ended up showing the same signs around 2. So with that being said, we could kind of compare it to maybe genetically related is what autism is from. So in conclusion, we can state that immunizing your children is the most beneficial thing for them, and it ultimately can prevent them from getting diseases such as polio or life-threatening diseases such as hepatitis B or meningitis. and that, infections really aren't related to, autism in really any type of way. It could be genetic. So